Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got quite the change of pace today. We've been cranking out a lot of metal lately, so now we're gonna dial it back a bit and just enjoy some classics from the Temptations with My Girl. So this is a great song. It's got just some classic melodies and probably one of the most popular guitar riffs of all time too, so it's very recognizable. So we're going to cover that riff and the chords for the song as well. So it should be a pretty quick lesson. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already and ring that notification bell so you know when I release a new video, you can like and comment, kind of watch the video, it really helps. And if you really want to support what I do here on YouTube, I tell you the number one way to do it is to join my Guitar Academy. That's the only way to make any money doing any guitar stuff, because you don't make money really putting song lessons up on YouTube. You'll see a link to that in the description below, and that link will give you a free 7-day trial to my Academy too. So my Academy, that one subscription gives you access to all of my guitar courses, the entire guitar school, from complete courses for beginners to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone. I go live there with like a live stream where just Academy members can ask me questions every weekend, and you get personalized support from me as well. So please go check it out. You get a free 7-day trial there. All right, so let's jump into this. I'm in standard tuning here, and it starts with this bass line. The bass, if you want to know what the bass riff is on guitar, so that's just that 5th fret on the D string over to the 3rd fret on the A string, hit that twice. Obviously lower in pitch, so take that down an octave. But we have a guitar riff, the main guitar riff comes over that. Now there's a couple ways you can play this. I believe you can actually see like a little video they made in the studio. And it's hard seeing the guy's hand, but you can see the strings that he's picking. And I believe he's doing this staying in one position. And then it goes to the F and does that in one position, as opposed to. Now it kind of gives it away a little bit when he does the F. Just showing up, I'm just reasoning why I'm teaching it the way I am. When he does this, you can kind of hear a little bleed between the G and the open A. So you can hear that a little bit in some of the times he goes through the riff. So that kind of tells you it's being played down here. Now, either way it's fine, but I'm gonna try to do it the way I think they're actually recording it. So this main riff is first in C major, and then later in the song it modulates up a step to D major. So this first one in C major though, you're gonna have this 3rd fret on the A, let that ring, and then the 5th fret, then the 2nd fret on the D, then the 5th fret there on the D, and then 2nd fret on the G, 5th fret on the G. So I'll give you an optional way to play this in a second. So we have and you just repeat that. So the first time you hear the guitar come in, it just repeats that a couple times on that C. Now, an optional way to do it, if you don't like doing that little bit bigger of a stretch, which this is the way I think it's actually recorded, but you can do it like this way, but it just requires you to move around a little bit. So it's going to be 3, 5, 7, all on the A string. And then 5, 7 on the D. Over to 5 on the G. So it's the same notes, but just laid out a little bit differently. Doesn't require a big stretch, it just requires you to shift around a little bit. It's kind of slightly palm muted there, so just lightly touching the strings with your palm right before the bridge. See, that first one's not, and the rest of them are. So after a couple of times just playing it by itself, then we get to the actual verse chords. The verse chords in the actual verse part, which does this in C first, then it takes it over at F. So that's the same pattern now, that we're off the 1st fret of the low E string to the 3rd fret, then the open A and the 3rd fret on the A, and then the same thing on the D, open D, and the third fret on the D. You can use your ring finger if you want, like that. So it's the same pattern. So it just does that between C and F for the verse. On a cloudy day. So that's the riff that's going on. Now we have some guitar kind of hits going on with it, and they're a little bit higher up. So as long as you play bar chords, you can be pretty. This song's going to be pretty easy to you. So well, underneath that riff, we have this. So when you're doing the C hits, it's over. And then when we do the F hits, it's with the F chord. So that's a C bar chord at the 8th fret here. Full bar at the 8th. Then the 9th fret on the G, 10 on the D, 10 on the A. So when I hit that, I'm just gonna kill it real quick. And then do it again. So just lift up pressure. And then we have this F chord, which is a little bit of a stretch. But it sounds like they're kind of doing these higher voiced ones up here in this verse here. So that's going to be a bar across 3 strings at the 5th fret. So from the high E string to the G. And then in front of that, you're going to play this 6th fret there on the B. Now you can get away with just that much of it, if you just want to play it like that even. So, but if you want to do the full chord, it's going to add the 7th fret there on the D, and then the 8th fret on the A. So same rhythm, so it's like, goes with that riff. That's going with that little riff that's going on the guitar. All right, then we get to the pre-chorus. Looks like this. Don't really know the lyrics. I'm just trying to hum it along the melody there. So we're still in C here. We're going to start with the C major chord, and I'm going to play this here now. The voicings of this are optional. You can do this like this. But what I'm trying to do a lot with these chord voicings is not try to figure out exactly what the guitar player is doing, because there's a whole orchestra playing. There's all this instrumentation going on. So I'm really trying to kind of put the whole harmony together and into like a way that kind of sounds similar on the guitar. And for me, that part, first two chords sound good here, but I'd rather jump back here. The kind of fuller sounding instead of being up here, which don't sound as full to me. So I think this matches more of the sound of the track. So this is a C major bar chord. So I'm playing this 3rd fret on the A and barring across the 5th on the D, G, and the B. Then we're gonna go to a D minor 7th chord. So that's a bar across 5 strings from the high E to the A at the 5th fret. And in front of that, we're gonna play the 6th fret there on the B string, and then the 7th fret there on the D. So the 5-string chord. So, all right, then it goes to an F major bar chord, which you probably know this, but it's a full bar at the 1st fret, the 2nd fret there on the G string, the 3rd fret there on the D, and then the 3rd fret there on the A. So that's an F major, and then you're just gonna take that up 2 frets to the G major, and that'll be the 4th chord, the final chord of the chorus. So you're gonna repeat those 4 chords. Sorry, that's the pre-chorus. So we have this. Repeat. And then it gets to the chorus. Now the chorus, this first chorus, I feel like it's a little bit different. You see a lot of people, they'll play like a C major 7th here. I don't think there's a C major 7th there. Even when you put the full harmony together, it's closer to a C major add 9. Now in the second chorus, when it goes to D, that's a D major 7th that starts that. But here, it sounds closer to this. All right, so that's a quick little chorus. So this first time you play a C major, it goes to C. So a regular C major chord, but so instead of a C major 7th, which you see some people playing, which is fine, but closer, what you hear more in the recording is the 9th. And then it kind of falls down to the root. So I'm gonna play it that way. You can play a C major 7th chord here, and it'll work too, but I just don't think it's like the first chorus, it sounds as good as this C add 9. So it's just a regular C major chord, but then on the B string, use your pinky, play the 3rd fret there on the B string. So it goes, then resolve it down to the regular C major chord. That's the same D minor 7th chord. And then we're gonna go to a G7. Now this can be a G7. The instrumentation, I'm not hearing a lot of a dominant 7 in there. I do hear some of the vocal harmony. And this first hit of the G, you can hear the flat 7 in it. So I'm doing it on both chords, but you can actually, sounds just as good to do a G on each one of these. So it goes, so that's just a straight G major instead of a G7. So I'll give you that option, but so we have this, after the D minor 7, that G7, if you want to play this as a G major chord, we just played that at the 3rd fret there, right? Now, to make it a G7 chord, all you gotta do is pick up the note that you're playing on the D string, so pick up your pinky. And that makes it a dominant 7 chord. And then it rotates between those 2 chords, the D minor 7 and the G7 one more time. Real quick at the end, so it has this. And then it goes back into the verse again, so it's the same. So it's the same verse in C major, the same pre-chorus, and the same chorus again. So then we get to the, I guess you can call this section either the bridge or the interlude section. It's when they go into the hey, hey, hey part. So that's a kind of a combination of this C riff done by itself, and then the whole verse riff in C, and then it transitions, it's a section that transitions us to D major for the rest of the song. So it'll sound like this. All right, so this is gonna be, it's gonna start with just that C riff by itself, done twice. So that riff off the C, which is that 3rd fret, the one that starts on the 3rd fret of the A. So just that twice, just like in the intro of the song. And then the verse, twice. Well, the verse riff twice. So that much, when it actually goes from C to F, and you get, and then we get to the new part here. So after you've done this riff by itself twice, and then C to F twice. Then after that, it goes to this, which is the D minor 7 again, to the G. Then it goes to an E minor chord. So it's just a regular E minor chord you probably already know. Then to an A major chord. And you hit that a few times. So it's kind of build up right there. And that A is the 5 chord. It's a 5-1 that takes us to D. So it's modulated to D now. And then we have the verse. Now, the verse, basically everything is moved up. So for the riffs, everything is moved up to a whole step, so it's just 2 frets. So it's the same riff. Now we have to finger it different here so we don't have open strings down here. So it's basically based off of D now and G instead of C and F. So the D is just played the same as the C riff, but it's just up 2 frets. And the G riff is going to be played, it's the same thing, just up 2 frets, but it's going to be played different since there's no open string. So it's going to be 3-5 on the low E, 2-5 on the A, and 2-5 on the D. So it's been now basically played the same as the C and the D riff, but it's just starting here at the 3rd fret on the low E. So it goes back and forth between those. So underneath that, we have just a D and a G major chord. Now this one is not as so really tight like the C verse that you heard at the beginning of the song. This one, they're letting it breathe a little bit more. So when it goes to this, the D to G, I'm just kind of strumming them down here. So it's just regular D major to G major. That's going with it. Then it gets to the pre-chorus now, but this pre-chorus is in D as well. So it looks like this. So that's just a D major chord to E minor. And I'm just going to do that G major bar chord at the 3rd fret. I just think it sounds better bar instead of, but you can just do it as a G major to A major kind of open position chord. You can do that fine too. But I like doing the last 2 chords. Kind of keeps everything together better. So that D to E minor. Then the G major, bar at the 3rd fret, and then just take that up 2 frets to the 5th fret. So that's the pre-chorus in D. So basically when we modulate it to D, it's going to stay in D. It's going to do the same verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, but everything's just up a whole step. So that's a... All right, so then we get to the last chorus. So this chorus is in D, and this one actually starts with a major 7th chord. That's pretty obvious on the album. And it's got probably the hardest part of the song. There's a quick little chord change at the very end. So it just kind of repeats this to the end of the song. Some quick chord changes at the very end is probably going to be the most challenging thing that you're going to learn in the song. But it's going to sound like this. So it's just that D major 7, so that's easy. It's an open D string, and you're going to bar the 2nd fret across from the high E over to the G. And that gives us the D major 7 chord. And then it goes from there to an E minor chord. So now this is the challenging part. We're going to go from an A major chord. Each one of these is going to be hit twice, and kind of like a staccato feel. So you can kind of mute it after each hit, like we were doing that before. So you hit the A major, so this one's going to be easier to play just the A major as a bar. So that's just the 2nd fret on the B and the G and the D, and then the open A. I'm just doing it all with my index finger. And then it has an E minor with G in the bass. So that's just going to be that E minor chord, but you're going to probably want to play it with the 2nd, use your index finger for that note on the A string, and then the middle finger for the note on the D string. So you can use your ring finger here comfortably at the 3rd fret on the low E. So you can strum all the strings from there, so it has this. All right, you can do the mute down here too. With the palm, maybe you don't have to do so much down here since you got to move a lot anyway down here. Like that. And then it goes to an F sharp minor. So that's a full bar at the 2nd fret with the 4th fret on the A in front of it, and then the 4th fret on the D as well. and then standard down to that E minor. So it's got this. So it's kind of a quick change at the end. So we have this. I'm sorry, the D major 7. Little known fact, Smokey Robinson, who was like the main songwriter for this, plays golf where I play golf at. So I see him practicing all the time on the driving range. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.